Thanks a lot for doing this.
Thank you, Rick.
Watching the first episode with Method and the two of you were talking about the things you'd went through and dealing with depression and just the memories you had. It struck me this is really a kind of a show you couldn't have done 5 years ago or 10 years ago, 20 years ago. This is a show about a guy who's been through some things.
Yeah, it is, man. It's great that you saw through that. And so it's like a man been around. This reminds me of that movie, The Wrestler. We've been through the good and the bad, and finally we're able to. I think age definitely comes in to where I've been around long enough to see the good, the bad, and stick it out and have longevity. So to have this type of perspective or input on it and have this wisdom of being around long enough really helps the viewer and gives them a different look at their favorite artist or somebody who they really really enjoy, a political figure, whoever. And every episode comes with a different lens, with a
Yeah.
different approach. And so, it's going to be amazing. It's something we haven't seen on TV. And it gives fans that have been um, following these people for years to be a fly in the wall and tap into a conversation they'll never hear their favorite artists talk about. And so that's what's special about this show.
One of the things I liked about the conversation was the two of you started swapping stories about back in the day where everyone would just kind of sit back and they just watch things that were going on and you could tell the both of you guys you were sort of mixed emotions about it. It's like, oh man, I wish we could have got past that back then because we missed out on stuff.
Yeah, we really did. But they just told me not to mention this person's interview, right? Because it hasn't been announced. But I interviewed, uh, let's just say, one of my idols. And towards the end of the interview, we're in Beverly Hills. Beverly Hilton. You see the mountain, and we talking, and we having a talk about family and all that. And he says, "You know what I'm thinking?" And I said, "No." He said, "Here's the kid with the army jacket that had these mean eyes that he would look through your soul and talk slow." He said, "Joe, you never even used to talk to people. You would just mean mug everybody and just look at them." And uh and that was crazy that he said, "Look at you. You have a talk show, you family man, you got so much going on." And the evolution, you know, at that time it was really hard and real rough around the edges. And
Yeah.
now you're able to be who you want to be. And so that's the beauty of it.
What do you think that music would have happened without that attitude? I mean, it seems like it was sort of woven in together. You couldn't have been the guy you are now back then.
No, and also I'm a gangster rapper.
Yeah.
And so, if you think about Ice Cube, Ice Cube got the big three league. He makes movie, he makes this. But if you cut the mic on in front of him, you're gonna hear some stuff. 2024, right? And so I'm the same way with my music. And especially coming from the streets of the Bronx where it was just really, really rough, you know, I really love the music I made back then. I don't think I can make the same type of music now. Even though I still gangster rap,
Yeah.
per se, but the perspective I had, so many records when I listened to it back in the days, I hear me actually fighting for my life through the music. It was like, yo, get me out of here. This is what's happening, but how do I get to the promised land?
Well, you talked about talking to this. We didn't mention celebrity, and it sounds like you had a pretty clear idea of what you wanted to do with this talk show, that the kind of conversations you wanted to have and sort of the things that you wanted to present.
Even more, maybe by second season and Stars really trust me, and then I'll go off and do because I wanna interview homeless people. I wanna interview billionaires. I want to give everybody a different perspective and to get to see different people talk. You know, with this one is very careful. Like I gotta give them an icon. I mean, everybody is an
Yeah.
icon every episode. But I gotta give them an icon. They gotta prove it. They gotta, I can't wait for when I could just grab a camera crew. They started like that and they said, Joe, listen, this is corporate. This is it. I mean, I'm gorillaing, I'm walking to the Buju Banton concert with my own cameras. Like, yo, let's go. We filming the TV show. Hey, Joe, it don't work like that. You with Starz now. So I'm like, okay, okay. But, I like to get, this show's a show of inspiration. It's a show of most people started from nothing and became icons and became superstars, became rich. And I just want the kids to be a fly in the wall. Really everybody, but I want people to be flies on the wall and hear this stories of inspiration of how they grew up, how they really came up, how hard it was, and what was that moment when they turned it around. Did they really need these friends at the time that were taking advantage of them? And you'll see most of them, if they're my age, their circle of trust is so small because they've been burnt so many times. But I need the people to see, the human side of their favorite artists.
Well, you're talking about the changes you went through and the human side of the artist. And let me just wrap up with this question. I wanted to ask about your son Joey. I have a teenage son with autism, and I know it changed my life. You look at life a totally different way when you have a son with autism. And just I'm assuming it had the same effect on you.
He's an angel. And so uh he blessed us with so much love. He has and still. Joey, he's nonverbal. He also doesn't walk, but he's like in a state of happiness. We rarely, rarely do you see Joey upset. Rarely, rarely do you see the smile come off his face. He just smiles all day. He's beyond loved. Joey's beyond loved. When he gets around my other kids, they look at him like he's the Don, of the family. Joey sits at the corner of the table. He looks at them like he knows his little sister, his little brother. Um, and so it's the biggest blessing, man. And I'm so glad that I had my mother and father to in a sense raise him while I had this career.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have them, there would be no Fat Joe the rapper because I would have to just be with Joey 24 hours a day. So, special, special.
He sounds like a great kid, man. And thanks for talking to me. Really enjoyed the show too.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank
Take
you.
care, man.